Well, hello. Welcome to Monday's show, Monday, November the 20th. Welcome to a new set, kind of. I switched everything up. As you can see, my backdrop's different. Uh, Spent a little money on some new desks and chairs and all that kind of stuff. Finally using some lighting, so if you notice I'm a little brighter, that's why. If you don't like that, sorry, too bad. Now you can see my face a little better. What's up, Joe? Yep, new set, buddy. Just switched it up. You know, I get bored. What do you want? Yeah, so that's what I'm up to. Anyway, hopefully you're up to some fun stuff. Yeah, got a lot to talk about this week. Some weird stuff has happened. The world's crazy right now. But yeah, we're gonna talk about the Candace Owens Ben Shapiro feud. Apparently, Ben Shapiro likes to get into feuds with people. I don't know. He needs to stay off Twitter. Sorry, or X, whatever. Uh, Yeah, yeah. All that podcast money. Yeah, all this podcast money I'm making right now, I'm putting it back into the show. It's some reinvestment, and it's a reinvestment into this. What's going on here? Um, Not very much so far, but no, you never know. Hey, everything's got to start somewhere. You're going to be the guy, Joe. Like now that you've been around from the inception, when this thing goes, man, you're going to be able to say, "I was there from the start. I saw when this bum had a real 2-bit hick setup, and now and then it's going to be a big studio, and you name it, it'll be all there. But yeah, so yeah, we're going to talk about that feud. That's pretty funny. I mean, it looks like it's been going on for a while. Also, the SpaceX launch, another failed launch, unfortunately. It got to space this time, but it it went it went tits up. We'll talk about that. Also, this one's weird. Snoop Dogg is now, I guess, done smoking pot. I guess he's not done with pot in general, but he's done smoking it. So that's kind of funny. We'll talk about that. Not very long, I'm sure. Not much to talk about there. Also, I'm gonna re-hit this topic. I talked about a comedian named Matt Rife a little while back, a couple months back, or whatever it was. Um, because he's great. The clips I've seen of him when he's doing crowd work is great. Just watched his Netflix special. Uh, yeah, not so much. We'll talk about that. If anybody that's watching has seen this, they'll share your comments obviously on that. Also, I'm going to talk about the Tucker Trump potential ticket. That'd be kind of neat. Uh, Trump was talking about entertaining the idea that Tucker Carlson could be his vice president. That'd be pretty cool. I'll be honest. That would be a killer card. And last, we'll finish off with the NFL. Is the NFL rigged? I don't know. You tell me. I've seen some stuff. I watched some games. I've seen some things, and there's an argument there. Let's put it that way. We'll talk about that and see where we end up there. As always, hit that subscribe right there, right there, right there. See, subscribe. That's my hand drawn subscribe, by the way. I drew that a long time ago, and it ticks around still on that whiteboard. That's never going to be used for a whiteboard again. But subscribe to the channel if you like the content. Like any video that you see. Obviously, all this kind of stuff helps. If you've been watching anything on YouTube for long enough, I think you know how the algorithm works. You know that likes, comments, obviously subscriptions to a channel, all helps the algorithm push that content out. Share the content, do all that kind of stuff. Do anything that you can to help the channel. Obviously, a smaller channel like mine. If it grows, the more it grows, the better content I can put out, the more time I can invest into the content. We all win. Maybe I win a little bit more, but whatever. That's hearsay. What do you got? Okay, do you have the Taylor Swift Brazil Jesus story? No, I don't. Oh man, what's you're gonna have to let me know what this is. I think between content pieces because I think I feel like I missed something there. But it's Taylor Swift, man. I thought we agreed I was gonna stay away from Taylor Swift. I already talked about her once. Now you're trying to drag me back into this dumpster fire of a situation. Ever since she wrote that stupid song about John Mayer, kind of, I'm like, what a loser. But mm, I still like some of her music, so I can't hate on her too much. All right. Well, without further ado, let's get right into the first topic here. Let me just plop this up here. All right. So Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro are at it now. I guess this was inevitable. Apparently, this has been going on for a little while, where Candace says that Ben typically disagrees with her on most things, and I guess now, as anybody who's been watching Ben Shapiro for a long time will know, that now with this Israel Hamas conflict, he's been he's been pretty on edge, and that seems to be all he's going to be talking about ever. If he's not talking about that, he's just waiting to talk about that. And I feel like he's a little too close to that. I've said that before, but I don't blame him. I mean, who wouldn't be if you're a Jewish person? All this is going on. So I'm going to read this article here. This is this is by what's this? The Independent. So the Independent sometimes puts out decent stuff depending on what they're talking about. This one I pre-read a little bit. It's not too bad, but it's just mostly the facts. So let's go on this. So Candace Owens blasts emotionally unhinged Ben Shapiro mid online feud. So Candace Owens said that her colleague and fellow right-wing commentator Ben Shapiro should be embarrassed amid an online feud between the pair, and accused him of making ad hominem attacks on her. Miss Owens, who is known for her outspoken views on issues including the COVID vaccine and the Black Lives Matter movement, said Mr. Shapiro had thrown her under the bus, also accusing him of being unprofessional and emotionally unhinged. It comes after a video shared online showed Mr. Shapiro speaking at what appeared to be a private event, during which he described Mrs. Owens' faux sophistication of certain issues as disgraceful and ridiculous. The pair both worked together on right-wing news company The Daily Wire. While Mr. Shapiro did not reference a specific thing Miss Owens had said or done in the video, his remarks came following several posts she had made on X. No government anywhere has a right to commit a genocide ever. There is no justification for a genocide. I can't believe this needs to be said or is even considered the least bit controversial to state, she wrote on November 3rd. Her comments were taken to be referencing the ongoing conflict between Hamas and Israel in the Middle East, though Miss Owens did not specifically mention it. Well, okay, obviously that's what she's talking about. She does that a little bit. It seems like she'll say something and then she's not clear on what she's referring, but it's almost like that, you know, that kind of like behind your breath talk, which is a little irritating. Be clear on what you're saying, which is probably what's gotten Ben unhinged on this. But let me continue reading. Speaking to Tucker Carlson for his series Tucker on X, Miss Owens said she still did not have any clarity on Mr. Shapiro's criticism of her, and that his remarks were just ad hominem attacks. I can't respond to it on a level of intellect because there's nothing that he has expressed in that, at least in that short clip, that he fundamentally disagrees with in terms of what I said, she said. I will say that I'm not going to respond with the same ad hominem attack. I don't think it helps further discussion. And if it was me that was caught on a video saying that about colleagues that I work with, I would be embarrassed. So I think that the video speaks more to Ben's character than it speaks to mine. Okay, well, yeah. All right, whatever. Ms. Owens added that she had not been contacted by Mr. Shapiro, who co-founded the Daily Wire in 2015, to discuss their disagreements. Ben and I have had many disagreements, so I don't think that that's particularly something that's interesting. He has taken virtually every stance that has been the opposite of mine on every issue over the last 5 years, so I don't think that's particularly remarkable, she said. Okay. That that screams like, talk about hyperbolic there, as if he disagrees with everything she says. Like, I hate when people do this. He's That's like that sort of victim stance, like, oh, well, I'm not surprised because he just disagrees with everything I say. Like, come on, be an adult about this. I'm totally open to having, or to people having a difference in opinion. I would hope that amongst colleagues that it would always be a civil disagreement. And I would never in a private event stand on a table and talk badly about Ben. Miss Owens went on to get, oh, yeah, so what do you mean? You just did talk badly about him. What are you talking about? Miss Owens went on to give tremendous credit to the Daily Wire for allowing differing opinions on the network, but added, I would hope that it would remain respectful and that you wouldn't throw your colleagues under a bus, so to speak. The feud continued on Wednesday evening after Mr. Shapiro responded to another post on X by Miss Owens, in which she quoted Bible verse and wrote, "You cannot serve both God and money." And then Ben came back with this. He said, "Candace, if you feel that taking money from the Daily Wire somehow comes between you and God, by all means quit. It's a pretty strong statement there. Yeah, I don't think he's mincing words there. I don't think he wants her around anymore, which, you know, I guess if she's going to talking shit about each other, and he's the boss, kind of got to keep your mouth shut a little bit. I think she's, you know, I think this is an ego battle, right? He's the boss. She's part of the organization. She probably thinks she's just as big. So she'll just say what she wants to say and, go do her own thing, which, whatever. Good luck to her, I guess. Doesn't seem like Shapiro's too upset about it. Miss Owens replied, "You've been acting unprofessional and emotionally unhinged for weeks now, and we have all had to sit back and allow it, and have all tried to exercise exceeding understanding for your raw emotion. But you cross a certain line when you come for scripture and read yourself into it. I will not tolerate it." Yeah. So there you go. That's the beef. That's what's going on. That's the feud. I don't know where it's at right now, but I wouldn't be surprised with this kind of ending in maybe parting ways. Maybe Candace is feeling like she's too big for the Daily Wire and she can say what she wants. Maybe Ben's just sick and tired of her opinion on things, or maybe her, like, her sort of backhanded comments on things. I don't know, but either way, these feuds are really fun to watch. So I'm going to continue to watch it, and if they keep giving content to me, I'm going to keep talking about it. So maybe lucky you. All right, Joe, what are you saying there? I hear that going to Project Tay under the Christ the Redeemer statue that overlooks Brazil when she does a concert there. Oh, who's going? Did I miss something there? I like to use Tay though. Tay, you can use all kinds of Tay. Put it in Tay's nene if you KK. Uh, yeah, it's fun. See, it's fun. See, you're using my stuff now. You're throwing in the Tay's in there. All right, Tay's tatas. All right, what do we got? What do we got next? Let's go. Let's go. SpaceX launch. Okay, let's talk about this thing. Yeah, so another crash, another another explosion for SpaceX, unfortunately, with the Starship. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it leaves them for the next one, but let's read this article here. This is Reuters here. SpaceX Starship launch failed minutes after reaching space. SpaceX uncrewed spacecraft Starship, developed to carry astronauts to the moon and beyond, failed in space shortly after lifting off on Saturday, cutting short its second test, but making it further than an earlier attempt that ended in an explosion. The two-stage rocket ship blasted off from the Elon Musk-owned company's Starbase launch site near Boca Chica in Texas, helping boost the Starship spacecraft as high as 90 miles above ground on a planned 90-minute test mission to space and back. With the rocket's super heavy first stage booster, though it achieved a crucial maneuver to separate with its core Starship stage, exploded over the Gulf of Mexico shortly after detaching, SpaceX webcast showed. Meanwhile, the core spaceship stage boosted further toward space, but a few minutes later, a company broadcaster said that SpaceX mission control suddenly lost contact with the vehicle. It probably hit the what was that called? The flat earthers call that the oh god, what's that? The the space ceiling, whatever that the Fermi what is it? The Fermi something or whatever. Yeah, it probably hit that. Most likely hit that, bounced off, came back down. When it got up there, in the flat Earth space, it just couldn't get up into the non-existent space. Maybe we have lost the data from the second stage. We think we may have lost the second stage. SpaceX engineer and live stream host John Insprucker said. He added that engineers believe an automated flight termination command was triggered to destroy the rocket, though the reason was unclear. Well, why would they trigger that unless it just triggered on its own? Maybe it's AI. Maybe the AI has infiltrated SpaceX and now is destroying their rockets to stop them from getting up into fake space. About 8 minutes into the test mission, a camera view tracking the Starship booster appeared to show an explosion that suggested the vehicle failed at that time. The rocket's altitude was 91 miles. The launch was the second attempt to fly Starship mounted atop its towering Super Heavy rocket booster, following an April attempt that ended in explosion failure about 4 minutes after liftoff. Okay. Well, let's see. All right. Testing failures. Starship's failure to meet all of its test objectives could pose a setback for SpaceX. The FAA will need to review the company's failure investigation and review its application for a new launch license. SpaceX officials have complained that such regulatory reviews take too long. Of course they do. Regulations and all this kind of jazz in the States always takes so long. You're trying to get permits for things, and good luck. On the other hand, the failure in a program for which SpaceX plans to spend roughly $2 billion this year was in line with the company's risk-tolerant culture that embraces fast-paced testing and retesting of prototypes to hasten design and engineering improvements. Okay. Clock is ticking. NASA, SpaceX primary customer, has a considerable stake in the success of Starship, which by the U.S. Space Agency is counting on to play a central role of landing humans on the moon within the next few years under its human spaceflight program, Artemis, successor to the Apollo missions. Yeah, the Apollo missions. Those Apollo missions, the ones that went to the Arizona deserts. Those ones here. NASA Chief Bill Nelson, who has made competition with China a core need for speed in Artemis, said Saturday's Starship test was an opportunity to learn, then fly again. Okay. Anyways, yeah, this is all rah rah at the end. Like, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, yeah. Obviously, he's gonna put another rocket up. That's what he does. So sometimes they go boom boom. At least these ones aren't going boom boom with people in them. So that's always good. So we'll see. I mean, obviously, uh, this kind of thing has inherent risk, and they're not always going to go smooth. So let's wish Elon good luck on the next one, and let's get us to the moon for the first time. All right. So yeah, threw a little bit of conspiracy theories in there, whatever you want. Well, you're all over the Tay-Tay. Tay-Tay's tatas. Yeah. Wait, you got nothing to say about Elon Musk and flying rockets up to the to the top of our flat Earth dome and bouncing them off and all that kind of stuff. A boondoggle. Yeah. You think it's a boondoggle? Hmm. Are you a flat earther? You're not a flat earther, are you? If you're a flat earther, that's funny. If you're a flat earther, we got to discuss that one time because I love the flat earth stuff. I'm not saying I'm a flat earther because I'm not, but I love that stuff. I love hearing these guys. I love their arguments. It's great. Oh, good. Okay. We were actually when Tyler was on the show back before, whatever it is now, like 8 months ago. We were actually talking to a flat earther guy via Discord, trying to get him on the show. It would have been probably over Skype or something because I think he's from Europe or something. But he seemed to be pretty knowledgeable on flat Earth stuff, so it would have been pretty funny, pretty funny to have him on there and hear what he had to say because these flat earthers are very, very strong in their opinion. So, you know, they make anybody who's convincing makes decent arguments for things. I've been caught and I've been caught half believing certain things when I forget what it was, but somebody was talking about pressure and such, and he was making such a good argument to it via comment section the one time. I don't know if it was on one of my videos or another video somewhere, and uh, and then some guy came on and debunked him pretty quick, and I was like, all right, fair enough. But it sounded good. It all sounded good, so he put it together well. All right, let's. I digress. I digress. Let's get on to this one. This is going to be a quick little topic about our friend Snoop. Um, yeah, you believe in simulation theory. I'm gonna I'm gonna talk more about simulation theory on a show. I think I might do a big segment on it because I think that's a pretty cool thing. I'm gonna change up a little bit now that I've changed up the set and stuff. I'm gonna change a little bit of the show, the way I do the show a little bit. So I'm gonna have segments, and I think theory is gonna make it into some of my segments. It might even be a recurring thing, depending on how much I have to talk about it. But all right, let's get on to this next one here. Snoop Dogg has decided he is not going to smoke pot anymore. That's a kind of a play on words there. He's not going to smoke pot anymore, but I'm sure he's not going to give up pot. Let's put it that way. He's not kicking it cold turkey. But let's read this little article here from this is CNN Entertainment. Dog, it's funny. Dog S is what these guys are, but let's see what they have to say in this little tiny little argument here. Snoop Dogg says he's given up smoking weed. So, yeah, see, like I said, he says he's given up marijuana or at least smoking it. After much consideration and conversation with my family, I've decided to give up smoke. The rapper, whose real name is Calvin Brodus, is told his 82.5 million followers on Instagram. Holy shit, he's got 82.5 million followers. Wow. Please respect my privacy at this time. The news may come as a shock to some. The rapper has long been open about his love of weed and even claimed to have smoked in the White House. He has launched several business ventures related to marijuana, including a pot focused media company called Mary Jane and a line of cannabis products. He has also invested in a Casa Verde Capital, a venture capital firm that invests in marijuana startups. His love for weed has made headlines. The entertainer revealed in 2019 that he had a full time staffer whose sole job is to roll his blunts. And in 2021, he revealed on Reddit that he has 81 smoke breaks a day. Wow. I feel sorry for the staffer though that was rolling his blunts since he's now not going to smoke it anymore. He's done. He doesn't have a job anymore. But I don't know. Maybe he's just going to run and get all his edibles or whatever. I wonder what he's going to do now because I'm not a big marijuana guy, but I know smoking it is different than eating it. Is he gonna vape it? Is he gonna, I don't know, like what are the other ways? You put it on your skin, I guess, and ingest it. It goes into your bloodstream that way, but that's more for like pain. How's he gonna get high? Does he want to get high anymore? He's gonna have to go find Towley from South Park, and well, they won't be able to smoke blunts anymore. But whatever. But I think that kind of changes Snoop Dogg's whole thing. If he's not smoking marijuana, what's he gonna do? I think he's kind of gonna lose his cool a little bit. I think you're gonna see this kind of fall right back to smoking it, unless maybe he's developed something like emphysema or something. In which case, but yeah, I don't think this is gonna last long. Let me know what you think in the comments. What do you got to say here? Yeah, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, CNN's the number one source. Um, yeah, but if he eats it, so eating it is a much different thing than smoking it. So if he eats it, he's just going to be a different guy, I think. And yeah, 81 blunt. So when I did when I was doing tobacco farming back in the day, I was young. I had a guy that I worked with, and he brought a whole garbage bag full of pot, and we would just in the first thing in the morning for about 10 minutes before we get started, we'd roll up as many as we could. Typically, I could roll maybe like a dozen or something like that, or maybe just less. But I would roll them fast and loose and garbage, but it didn't matter. And then I would just set them up and have them set up beside me. Because like literally while you're tobacco farming, it's just a repetitive motion. It's stupid. The day's 5 to 6 hours on average of just constantly just picking tobacco. You're literally going like this and just picking tobacco. And so I would just have one hanging in my mouth, just smoking it the whole time. And then when we'd stop to change the bags, if I was out, I would just light up a new one and then get going again. And that was repeat on repeat for the day for about a month straight. That's what I did. That was my pot days experience. So I can imagine 81 once. That's pretty sick. I mean, it just felt like I was constantly smoking a J the whole day. And there was, like I said, maybe 10 to 12. And he's talking about 81. That's just nuts. But, he's a chronic for a reason. But, all right. Let's get on this next one. Let's get on the next one. Okay, if you've watched this show before, you know I'm a fan of this guy. He's funny. I've caught clips of him online. He was littering my Facebook feed for a while. I've watched other clips on YouTube and that of him, and he's funny. He's really funny. He's got really good crowd work. But uh, I was excited when I saw that he had a Netflix special. You know, So I did what I'm sure a lot of people did. I watched it. Oh, and if you watched it, you probably know what I mean. So I'm going to read this article here by Vulture. I don't know who they are, but it was the only kind of good article. This is a pretty new special, and I was going through to see what people were saying. It was mostly I was finding Reddit posts, things like that. But these guys talked about it, and this was a pretty good article as far as summing it up. So I'll read this. So Matt Rife works a crowd of his own making. The opening joke of Matt Rife's Netflix special, Natural Selection, is set at a restaurant in Baltimore, a city Rife describes as ratchet. The hostess has a black eye, Rife tells the crowd, which prompts one of Rife's companions to wonder why she's been assigned to greet people instead of being moved into the kitchen where patrons can't see her face. Yeah, Rife tells his friend, but I feel like if she could cook, she wouldn't have had that black eye. Which is, it's bad, but funny. The crowd laughs loudly, shocked but also excited. That joke suggests the rest of the hour might have more of the same danger and naughtiness and crossed lines, and misogyny and a white guy relying on black vernacular. But as the first burst of laughter is still rolling, Rife said he's just testing the waters, seeing if y'all are going to be fun or not. I figure if we start the show with domestic violence, the rest of the show should be smooth sailing. This is the posture Rife holds for the rest of the hour. He's in a defensive stance. Will the audience be on board with him? Will they revolt? Will they be fun? Sometimes that defensiveness manifests as timidity and sometimes as aggression. But throughout, Rife holds an adversarial position against a crowd who fills Washington, D.C.'s 3,000 seat Constitution Hall. Well, right away, you're in Washington, D.C. Ah, like, that place is weird. That place is full of people that get butt hurt very easy. So let's relax a little on that one. Anyways, okay, let's skip down a little. So the dick jokes are the easiest to assess in much the same way that they're the easiest jokes to make. Rife has a few different versions. Some are more focused on size, some on masturbation, and some on the challenge of making women orgasm, which are really just dick jokes where the nerve bundle is a slightly different shape. The longest of them, let's see, whatever, are a selection where he imagines being rubbed off by monsters who lurk under his bed, and another story about finding his stepfather's collection of porn VHS tapes in a closet. The ideas Rife plays with most clearly are being young and figuring out how to feel about sexuality. In each joke, there's a looming, menacing figure, the monster, the stepfather, whose threat is neutralized by ejaculating. Okay, this is a weird sort of take there on it. Let's dip down a little bit. Okay. All the chill, phallic delight is gone, exchanged for real animus toward these online trolls flooding his timeline. In the telling of the joke, these commentators aren't yelling at him about his comedy. They're angry at him for breaking the rules, for being inconsiderate to others, and for making a flight attendant's job harder. Finally, he snaps. What I've learned through therapy or whatever, more eye rolling, is that I'm a very defensive person. Based on her profile picture, Rife decides that the worst of the trolls is a heavier set woman. So he proceeds to make a comment about her presumed body size, and then becomes even more furious when the commenter accuses him of body shaming and demands that Rife be canceled. Bitch, you can't cancel me, he says. I'm not your gym membership. Okay. So this article goes on for a while. I'm just gonna give you the Cole's notes of his special here. It seems like he's uncomfortable. He does a lot. He does a thing that a lot of new comedians do, which is funny because he's like, this guy's seasoned. Working the the smaller venues for a while. It might be because this was a big or bigger venue and it was going to be on Netflix, so maybe the nerves were there. But he does a lot of this filler stuff. He's doing these filler things, and um, it's like, oh man, that kind of like he's doing that kind of thing the whole time, where it's like you're going, just kind of get to the punchlines a little bit more. That works better when he's riffing off the crowd. Then it's fine because he can kind of throw that in there. But this this is him trying to put together an hour of actual stand-up comedy that doesn't rely on riffing off the audience. And in my opinion, it falls pretty flat. I wouldn't suggest watching it if you're a fan of Matt Rife, because realistically, this one's just kind of, if this one doesn't end his specials career at this point right now, if it doesn't kind of at least shelve it, it's going to be one that's hopefully that people just kind of forget about. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't think much of it. Um, I got I watched at first I watched a lot of it and then turned it off and then went back and watched the rest of it. And because I was hoping to get funnier, but it didn't. It just wasn't funny. It started out like I said, the first joke was a pretty decent chuckle, but then after that it just went to shit. All right, let's move on to the next thing here. What were you saying there? You smoke a lot of pot, Joe. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't really smoke pot. I used to, like I said, and then I did edibles for a little while. Not a ton, but I was doing them, and now I just find it just messes with me, makes me paranoid, so I just kind of stay away from it. All right, let's get on to the next thing here. If you haven't heard, Mr. Trump, President Trump, former President Trump, uh, was asked about Tucker Carlson, about considering Tucker Carlson as a vice president. And he said, yeah, I mean, he would. I'm going to read this article. This is The Hill. It's pretty short. And then I'll kind of discuss what we think about this and you know, what this might mean for, overall for his presidential run. So Trump says he's considered Tucker Carlson as running mate. Former President Trump says he'd consider Tucker Carlson. Why do I have a hard time? Tucker Carlson as a potential running mate in 2024. I like Tucker a lot. I guess I would, Trump said during an appearance on the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton show this week. I think I'd say I would because he's got great common sense. When they say that you guys are conservative or I'm conservative, it's not that we're conservative. We have common sense. We want to have safe borders. We want to have a wall because walls work, he said. Carlson was fired by Fox News in April, just days after it agreed to pay Dominion Voting Systems $787 million to settle claims of defamation out of court. The host has since launched a video series on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, and remains under contract with Fox. Yeah, he's under contract with Fox, so they can without saying. Anyways, on the night of the first Republican presidential primary debate in August, Carlson hosted a wide-ranging interview with Trump on his X program. The former president has grown increasingly critical of Fox and its corporate ownership in recent months, and was reportedly upset by its decision to pull Carlson off the air earlier this year. Everybody was upset about that. Let's be real. I mean, now it's funny. They pull Tucker off the air, Fox, and they replace him with Jesse Waters. And Jesse Waters is basically another Tucker, just not white the same. But it's pretty much the same show with a different guy. It's so bizarre. Anyways, as part of its litigation with Dominion, a trove of internal communications from top hosts at Fox, including Carlson, were made public, showing them bashing Trump and throwing cold water on his false claims of an unfair 2020 election. I hate him passionately, Carlson wrote of Trump in one now widely publicized text message. Other messages from Carlson showed him using offensive language to describe female executives at Fox and usually racially charged language when describing his feelings about the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol by Trump supporters. Carlson, once the top rated cable news host, has repeatedly dismissed questions about if he would consider a run for the presidency himself. He leads the GOP margin by a wide margin, or nomination by a wide margin. No, excuse me. Get a little drink here. Yeah, so this could be a big thing. Let's be real. Uh, Tucker would lend some. Trying to think of how to frame this. He would kind of. I think he would lend legitimacy, but also sort of like a refinement to Trump, because Trump will say things, you know, which people love about it. He'll say things off the cuff, right? He'll just say something as is. Oh, that lady's fat, or you're stupid. I love the one. Oh my God, there's a clip. If you haven't seen it, go look it up. It's hilarious. There's like a I guess somebody put this together. I think I saw it on Instagram, where Trump is taking a question from from one of the reporters from probably from CNN or NBC or something. I don't know who it was exactly, but he's like, and she's all like flustered. She hasn't gotten herself prepared, and he looks over at I forget who it was beside him, but he goes, "Yeah, she wasn't expecting me to call on her." And then she's like, she says, "Oh, I'm sorry, uh, I wasn't thinking or something like that." He goes, "Don't worry, you never do." It's just he's just funny, man. He's a comedian. He really is a comedian. He has the timing of a comedian. He's got that kind of energy. He works the crowds, but it's hard to put a comedian, for a lot of people anyway. It's a hard sell to get a comedian in the White House. So if you get that guy with that energy, with his platform and what he believes and what he's pushing for, and you put him with someone like Tucker, who's articulate and can actually say the things correctly, and not you know, speak off the cuff like that. I think it bodes well. And Tucker's really popular. I think he gets a different. I think you get a lot of overlap as far as the voters, but I think you get others that would say that they're maybe not a Trump fan, but are definitely a Tucker fan, and you would gain those extra voters. So I think this could be a big thing for him. I don't see any real downside in it. Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. So I was just talking about this the other day. Yeah, I would like to see Vivek, I should say. Um, uh, oh, Gates. Yeah, but Gates isn't. Was there talk of Matt Gates? I didn't even know there was even talk of Matt Gates. I like Matt Gates, but yeah, I don't know. I just never even thought about him. But yeah, Vivek would be my first as well. I think Vivek, but Vivek made it hard on himself because since day one, he's been saying that he wouldn't be Trump's running mate. So now, if he were Trump's running mate, I don't know, it makes him look a little bit illegitimate at this point. Like he's going back on his word already to be like, oh, you said this, this, this forever. So I don't know. I don't know if he can do it. Like he might just be waiting. Vivek might be just doing a thing this time around to kind of set set the stage for himself for 2028. That could be it. So yeah, I agree with you. I like Matt Gates. So I like any of these guys that speak. You know, they speak kind of just common sense. But I don't know. I'm so jaded now with the government, the way the government is, that I wonder sometimes if some of these guys aren't put in there as sort of, they're implanted as the anti-establishment guys. And so they're there and they're creating a bit of a stink, a bit of a stir, but they're all kind of just going, no, no, this is the game. We're all playing this game. Your guys' role is this. And the squad, that's your role over there. And we got all these real puppeteers over here that are controlling stuff like the Pelosi's in that. They're actually doing all the string pulling. And everybody else has kind of a little dance, a little dance to dance. I'm not 100% sure. So that's why someone like Vivek is, you know, I'm a little bit more turned on by him because he's not been sullied by politics at this point. He's a business guy. He's like Trump, right? Like Trump came in as a business guy. He's not a politician. So, he's not polished like that. But Vivek actually comes in pretty polished. So he seems like a politician, but he's also a business guy. So I don't know. But what are you saying here? Gates AOC. Yeah, that'd be funny. Yeah. Have you seen I've seen a couple little clips where they're interacting in Congress and it looks pretty icy. So that'd be pretty funny if they got together though. Be like Gates AOC or Talib. I don't know who's another one. Jeffries Talib or something. These would be funny matchups. All right, let's get on to the last thing to talk about here. This one might get me in trouble, but I don't care. All right, so I'll have to say I've been noticing something lately, and I don't know if you've been noticing it. If you watch the NFL, I feel like you probably notice it, whether you think it's conspiracy theory or you think there's some truth behind it. It's got to be. It's in the framework that it's in the zeitgeist. I'll say that the NFL could be a little rigged. I hate to say it because I love the NFL. But some of the stuff I've seen lately, some of the weird no calls, yeah, it's hard to make it's hard to making a complete argument against the idea that there is some rigging going on in the NFL. I'm gonna read this article here. This is by Como News. I've never even heard these guys. I don't know who they are, but it's kind of funny because they're talking about Dave Portnoy. Um, if you don't know who he is, he's the Barstool Sports dude. Well, he's been a big advocate lately of the fact that the NFL's rigged. So I'm going to read this article anyway. So Portnoy blames uh, losing bets on rigged NFL. I haven't won since the Joe Burrow game. So Washington, Barstool Sports owner Dave Portnoy is once again at odds with the National Football League after spurring the internet into a firestorm following his recent massive betting loss. Portnoy placed a $120,000 bet on Cincinnati Bengals to either win or lose by less than 4 points against the Baltimore Ravens last week, a bet that carried a potential payout of over $229,000. The game resulted in a score of 34-20 in favor of the Ravens, a loss for both the Bengals and Portnoy. Following the game, reports that Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow played with a pre-existing injury while not being included on the team's injury list began circulating. Portnoy sounded off on X, a platform formerly known as Twitter, announcing a class action lawsuit against the Bengals and the NFL. The post has earned 8 million views. Portnoy now appears to be implying the NFL is rigged and working to ensure losing streaks stay alive. Okay, so uh, here he goes, okay, hold on, where are we at here? I have Dolphins and the over. It's double loser now thanks to that overturned TD, he said. That's how it works. And it's all because of the Joe Burrow injury. That's also how it works. In an effort to turn his fortunes around, the high roller then placed a bet on the Utah versus St. John's men's basketball game. I haven't won a bet since the Joe Burrow game, Portnoy wrote on X. I'm going pot limit on Utah basketball -5. This decision too ended in defeat, something the Barstool Sports owner called the worst tilt bet of his life. Well, bet on tilt. If you know anything about poker, that's a term they use a lot in poker. So representatives of the NFL Media Affairs did not immediately respond to a request for comment from the national desk Monday on Portnoy's allegations or his lawsuit threat. Yeah. So if you know anything about Portnoy in this regard, he doesn't have a lot of good things to say about commissioner of the NFL. So him slighting on the NFL and saying they're rigged, kind of fits the MO here. But again, like I said, I preface this segment, I should say, on the idea that I've seen enough watching games myself to question what's going on. There's been some really weird calls, late in the game. One thing that really bothers me about NFL, and I don't know, maybe somebody can educate me in the comments on this one. Prevent defense. You see teams do it all the time. Prevent defense, and it doesn't work. You just watch them boom, boom, boom down the field, 20 seconds, kick a field goal, win the game. Happens all the time. Happened to my Bills. I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. I'm actually not ashamed to admit that now, since they do, overall they do better than they've done in the past. This season might be a bit of a write off, but anyways, the KC game against them, I think it was last year, maybe no, I think it was last year, where back and forth in the last 3 minutes of the game, there's like, what was it, 17 or 20 points scored. It was like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Prevent defense, not stopping anybody. I don't know why they call it prevent. They just call it like, we'll call it backing off defense. We'll call it, you get 15 yards every play, 15 yards to the end zone, to the sideline. That's what you got. So it doesn't work. But anyways, I feel like there's a bit of weird rigging going on like that. Like, and then there's also been arguments made, which I don't agree with. So don't put this on me. It's just been said that explains some of the Tom Brady miracles, if you will. I love Tom Brady, so even though I'm a Bills fan, and he was the enemy for a long time, he's excellent, so I love him. But um, if that's the case, I'm sad. I'm sad if that's really what's happening. Let me know what you think in the comments. You think the NFL's rigged? Do you think it's not rigged? I don't know, but I think the proof is, or the onus is on them to prove that it's not. Maybe some better officiating or something. All right, what are you saying, Joe? I see you were going a little there. Yeah, yeah, the Lions. So my buddy is a big Lions fan, and he's loving it right now. So, and obviously, I'm guessing you are since you're a Michigan guy. But um, yeah, it's nice to see. You know what? I like to see the shit teams. The Browns is another team that I'm glad to see they're doing well. The teams that did bad for so long, the Bengals. The Bengals were garbage when I first started watching football. Just Well, actually, no, they were okay, and then they were garbage. And so like just seeing teams go from being the garbage teams to the good teams, or like vice versa. You know, you see New England slipping down. That's always fun. Uh, so it's just nice to see parity in the league instead of seeing the same damn teams all the time. Like the Lions have been garbage for so long. The Bills were garbage for so long. It's just it's rough. Especially I'm a fan of the Bills, but uh, yeah, and yeah, probably Portnoy's not very good at betting. I don't know. I don't think he needs to worry about it. Guy's got enough money. I'm sure he's fine. But no, no, no. I think his little gripes are whatever. But there that does seem to happen where the um, the betting lines get screwed up in the last like minute of a lot of games. So I excuse me, I know buddies that do that. They bet on the over unders on games and they lose from that kind of shit. Like often. I, I don't know. I always think all that's weird. I think the idea that somebody can, these guys can set these betting lines so well and you know, like the odds makers, they can be right more often than wrong is already weird. So it implies you know, I don't know, it implies that there's a rig going on. It's like same thing as like casinos, right? Where anybody who's in the know, you're not beating the house. Like the house is the house for a reason, right? So I think it's the same thing with bets, but I don't know. Anyways, all right. Well, I'm at 47 minutes. 47 minutes. All this new lighting, it's giving me a headache. So I think that's it. I think that's all I got. As I always say, if you have gotten this far and you like the show, subscribe if you haven't already. If you like it enough and have subscribed, share with your friends, like, comment, do all those things that I shouldn't have to tell you, but sadly I do because a lot of people will just watch and they don't like it. Hit the little thumb. That's the way you help me. That's like basically it's like give me a tip. Think about it that way. If you don't want to give me any money, which I'm not asking for yet anyway, that's the way you tip me. Just give me that little like, share, all that kind of stuff. Uh, thanks for thanks for joining me in the chat, Joe. It's always nice to have somebody to talk to. Nobody wants to talk to me. I'll see viewers and then nobody's talking. Just you and me. Well, here we go. Static Mouse, what's up, buddy? Nice to see you at the end of the show. You missed it, man. You're 48 minutes in. But nice to see you. How you doing, buddy? Uh all right. I'm out. That's it. That's it for me for another week. Would you say there, Joe? I missed that. That's fair, but I used to be able to do that with hockey. Yeah, yeah. I know guys that could do it. I know guys that could do it. I know a guy that worked for me that seems to win at Pro Line quite often. So, you know, good on him, I guess. I'm good. I'm good, brother. Yeah, I'm just just living the life. It's doing the do. Doing the show, man. All right. I'm out. That's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for jumping in the chat. As always, like I said, catch on Mondays at 7 o'clock. Um, I'm rarely late unless something's happened. But yeah, I'll see you next Monday, 7 o'clock, right and on time.